This is the Dallas Morning News.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.
Hi, and welcome to Eat, Drink, DFW, the podcast from the Dallas Morning News food team. Each week, we take a look at the food and drink trends happening in North Texas, learn some new recipes, and sometimes even get cooking tips from you, our listeners. I'm Anna Butler, the Dallas Morning News' food and events editor, and this week we're bringing you a special interview with some Dallas folks on a mission to try every Michelin restaurant in the state of Texas. But first, we're going to talk about some restaurant news highlights. That's all coming up right after this.
Central Market is really into food. Like when we say cheese, it's in 12 languages into food. Butchers, bakers, and sushi roll makers into food. We're talking so obsessive about quality you can shop blindfolded into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then let us turn your shopping list into a treasure map. Get inspired, get adventurous, or just get a chef-made dinner when you've got more taste buds than time. No place makes every meal more amazing like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
For the latest food and restaurant news from the Dallas Morning News, visit dallasnews.com/food. If you're behind on episodes, follow Eat, Drink, DFW on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd also love to hear from you, so email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. I am joined by our food writers, Sarah Blaskovich and Imelda Garcia. As a friendly reminder, Claire Baller is on parental leave. We've been talking a lot about fine dining lately and just kind of some of the more expensive restaurants in Dallas, especially Dallas proper. Imelda, you found something else that's new and in Collin County.
Yes, a few days ago I went to a new place that is going to open in Prosper. This place is called 1902 because that was the year when this town was formed. So it's like a historic date for them. And this restaurant will include a speakeasy called Mary Ann's. It's going to be located in the former Prosper Wine House in downtown Prosper, right in front of the Gin. That is one of the most popular restaurants in that area. So this aims to be American upscale restaurant where you can eat steaks and burgers and things like that. And this will be a great addition to Prosper because, let's be real, Prosper is like a little town. The area, it's just 25 square miles. Dallas is 386, but the median income in Prosper is $74,000. In Dallas, it's $39,000. So we need upscale locations in there.
Yeah, you're talking about people who can probably afford to go out to a nicer meal. And right now, there are a lot of chain restaurants, smaller restaurants. And it's not that there aren't one-off mom and pops, but in terms of upscale restaurant, you're probably driving a little bit further, maybe down to Frisco or Plano to fill that need. So this will be interesting.
I'm also doing the math on the founding year of Prosper, 1902. Here we are well over 100 years later. But now we got a speakeasy.
After Prohibition, significantly.
Yeah, they took longer than the rest, but they got there too. And I'm happy for everybody.
Another interesting about this place are the owners. Alora Hospitality Group. This is a local partnership that was created by two Frisco locals, Jason Young and Donnie Churchman, and they are committed to invest in businesses in downtown areas in North Texas. So they have another project in Frisco, in downtown. That includes the Parlor, Old Town Pine Company, and Frisco Premier Catering, and all of them are in downtown Frisco.
I think that's really sweet with just a historic downtown feel. You want to keep that alive and you want people to keep coming to that town square.
The setting also could be really cool. Like, I'm picturing that place after dark. You know, it's an old town square that's been reinvigorated. What a great spot for a speakeasy. Speaking of bars, I've got one to add to everybody's list. Does everybody remember when the coffee shop opened at the flagship Half Price Books on Northwest Highway?
Yep.
La Casita.
La Casita, it is a bakery that was founded in Richardson, and it has expanded to a couple of coffee shops. Well, that coffee shop promised to become a tiki bar at night. And as of this week, that bar part has happened. Ooh. I'm hearing some excitement from the people around me.
Yeah.
I heard Julie's mouth open. That was such a good thing.
Because who hasn't dreamed of walking through the aisles of Half Price Books with a cocktail in hand?
Yeah.
Yes, Anna. I was talking to the owners and they were like, if you're early for your reservation, you could just go to the bookstore first. Or I was like, what if you go to the tiki bar and then you go to the bookstore? Like 2 cocktails in, I'm going to go to the cookbook section and have me some fun.
I already own all of the books in the military history section at Half Price Books.
These are such weird facts about you, Anna.
But I could own 2 copies of every John Keegan book, which is going to be great.
That is a deep cut. I'm going to have to look that up. The tiki bar is called La Tiki Paisa, and The cocktail menu is quite long. A lot of rum drinks, some tequila drinks, all very thoughtful and put together by Benj Pakta, who used to work at Small Brew Pub in Oak Cliff. Fun fact, the owners of the coffee shop and bakery La Casita, their names are Marixa and Alex. They met working at Small together.
Oh.
So this is kind of a coming back together of some of these Small Brew Pub folks. And the Tiki Bar will have what I'll call exciting snacks. There is a burger. There are steak frites, but you kind of want to go and graze while you drink cocktails. So think about this Tiki Bar this way. Go for the cocktails, stay for the food.
Oh.
So one thing that Marixa said is that, they have a simple bread and butter on the menu, and they have a bakery. So they're known for that. The bread is sourdough and the butter is a hot honey fermented butter. The Tiki Bar will be open 7 days a week, starting at 5 p.m. So you're not going to this place at 11 o'clock, for instance. You're going for dinner or for cocktails. They think they'll close about 10 o'clock on the weekends.
Perfect for half price books.
And perfect for Anna, someone who doesn't want to stay up late, but who does want to eat and drink cool things.
So while you're making your list of new places to go, we had a restaurant open last weekend in Dallas, or really Highland Park, which was Cafe Dior. This has been highly anticipated if you really follow food in the way that Dominique Crin is the chef here, which is a huge deal. If you're not familiar with Dominique, she is the first U.S. female chef to get 3 Michelin stars. Just kind of crazy. So she has Atelier Crin in San Francisco, along with a few other things that also have Michelin stars as well. This is an interesting menu. All of the feedback I have heard from people is, hey, you need to eat a snack before you go, or you're going to want to go get a Whataburger double cheeseburger afterwards.
Oh, no.
That being said, tiny portions, yes, but absolutely beautiful. So Dior, known for really beautiful florals, textiles, things like that, super feminine. The food is like that too. So there's a ton of edible flowers on almost every single dish there. What's fascinating to me about this, though, is Chef Crin made a name for herself. It was in 2019, right before the pandemic, and said, hey, I'm not serving meat anymore because it's not sustainable. Mm-hmm. There is dairy and cream and things like that at the restaurant still, but everything was shifted towards mainly fish and seafood. That being said, looking at this menu, what amused me is there's chicken on it. And she doesn't serve chicken in San Francisco, to my knowledge.
Oh, is there beef on the menu?
Definitely not beef. So chicken maybe technically isn't meat. I'm wondering.
Chicken is meat.
Chicken is meat. But I think sometimes when people say meat, they mean beef.
I hesitate to remind everybody where we are. Shocking to open a restaurant in the middle of Dallas and not have a single beef product, but not market itself as healthy or vegan or vegetarian, which is what most of these other healthful restaurants might do if they don't have beef.
Yes. And that's what leads me to think that someone was like, hey, you can't have a seafood only restaurant in Dallas, Texas. And so chicken was the compromise, maybe.
I feel sad about that.
So there's chicken consomme on the menu. There's also chicken salad because there's a high tea. It's $75 a person, which actually makes it one of the more affordable high teas in Dallas. That being said, it's probably not as filling as the other ones based on the other feedback I've gotten.
I am just realizing, Anna, that there's chicken consomme and there's chicken salad, 2 dishes that were famously on the Zodiac menu at Neiman Marcus. As we have mentioned, the Zodiac is closing March 31st. It's like when God closes a door, he opens a Cafe Dior.
I loved it.
The consomme at the Zodiac was free. This will set you back over $20.
No.
Everything on the menu starts at $20, which is interesting to me only because it closes. I think the last reservation you can have is at 4. It's going to close promptly before dinner time. There's a full bar menu and everything in between. If you're feeling like you don't want to spend that much, you can go grab a coffee and they have stenciling and you get to pick which stencil that you want on top of it. So you could get a classic Dior bumblebee or you could get a Dior logo or something like that.
I don't like it. I don't like almost anything about this. It sounds expensive. It sounds fussy. I don't get it.
The good news is, Sarah, you don't have to get it because you won't be able to get a reservation.
A great point. I can't go if I want to. Tell us why, Anna.
There are absolutely no reservations right now, just like there are no reservations for the Zodiac right now, which is...
Where are people going to eat their chicken salad? Ooh, it really matters what you wear when you go have lunch at Cafe Dior, I feel.
I have a reservation in a few weeks and I'm already stressed about what I'm going to wear because I am not a Dior girly and I feel like I'm actually going with people who will be decked in Dior.
Oh, but is that like wearing the band t-shirt to the band's concert? Is it too much? May I be so bougie to say that shouldn't you wear Valentino to Cafe Dior? I'm also don't have any.
You're 100% actually supposed to wear the band t-shirt to the band with stuff like this.
Really?
Like if you go shopping at like Hermes in Paris, you should be decked in Hermes. So that,
Wow.
This is just proof that this is not for me.
if you know, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anna, I want to know, how did you get the reservation if it's like impossible?
You know what's great is I have friends who are really committed to doing things like this that are not me.
Okay.
But they want to eat with you because you love French food and you're also wonderful company, but you didn't have to do the hard work.
I think I was actually a B-list invite for this one where this just came up in conversation and the person was like, oh, I made it for 4. I guess you could come too.
Okay, wow.
Oh, well, I know that they will be glad you're there. And I want to know which fast food place you go to afterwards to fill the rest of your belly.
Yeah, I'll let you know. And I'll also email Chef Kren about it. I'm just kidding. What is cool, though, about this is she has been extremely involved in Dallas over the past few weeks. She has made a stop into Georgie, which we just basically know from Instagram.
She was also spotted at Jose with Chef AQ. And there's like a darling picture of the two of them, and whatever AQ made her, you can see it all on Instagram. Looks really good.
I've heard she's very supportive of female chefs, too.
That makes me want to be supportive of her. She seems like a lovely chef. I just need to figure out how to be me and eat in that restaurant.
Maybe you just go to one of her other restaurants in San Francisco.
Yes. We have plenty of places to spend tons of money in Dallas, as we've talked about for months and years. This is, yet another one in Dallas's most expensive shopping center.
I think we should go around really quick and just say more affordable places we like, which we've done before on this show, but I just think it would be a really nice balance really quick.
I love it.
Define affordable.
I think it is anywhere, one, where I'm not left hungry after ordering an entree, which lately I feel like has not always been the case. I think affordable is hopefully under $20 a person.
I think that's a dream.
I think it's a dream. I think it's actually possible, though. I think most people are feeling it's more in that $30 to $40 range right now.
Yeah.
But as someone who goes to a restaurant, orders an entree and water, I can do it under $20. One place that I do like to do that is a place I talk about a lot, which is Food from Galilee. It is Lebanese-style Mediterranean food that is in Snyder Plaza. My favorite thing about it is that they serve lunch on styrofoam plates, like, recycling doesn't exist.
I love that that's your favorite thing about it.
I just think it's funny, but you can go in and you can just get soup and a side and it'll be about $10 to $12. I also think that dumplings and Chinese food are a really great way to do that. So heading up to Richardson, Kieran Court, or Jingqi are going to be really great ways to do that. If you're in Chinatown in general and can't get into Kieran Court, just about every restaurant in that shopping center is going to be affordable. Sarah, what do you got?
Breakfast. Even though eggs are expensive, breakfast is a great way to have a good meal on the weekends without spending too much money. My family loves Halcyon on Greenville Avenue. We walked there on Saturday, for instance, and their breakfast burrito, which comes with eggs, cheese, and choice of bacon or sausage, is so good. It comes with this homemade salsa, and it's extremely affordable. They also have these really good skillets that, you can put whatever you like in a skillet and they'll kind of scramble it up with eggs. So breakfast is a great opportunity if you're looking to spend a little bit less, but still go out. That's my tip. I also am into these salad shops. I have favorites. Salad and Go is the best priced one, and there's no inside at all. You just drive through and get your salad. It's usually $6, something like that. It's a crazy price. My very favorite salad shop is Sweet Green, and those will run you $10, $12, but sometimes I can make one of those salads last 2 meals. Imelda, what about you?
I have 2 options in Garland. The Garland Cafe, it's a very, very small place, but it's absolutely marvelous in speaking about affordability, because they have like these big portions, but their prices are really, really affordable. For example, I don't know, an omelette, maybe $7.50. Things
That's
like that.
Great.
Yeah, it's great. And I think tacos are really affordable. Even the Michelin recommended taqueria in Fort Worth, Birreria Cortez. I mean, for $20, you can have a scrumptious lunch. So yeah, tacos never will break your heart and your pocket. Yes.
Tacos will never break your heart. Somebody make a meme out of that.
I'm realizing that we mutually left out one of the most affordable places that we both like, which is Keller's.
Oh yeah, I love Keller's too.
Salty waitresses, hot burgers. They'll bring you a beer in your car, which I still don't understand the logistics. I don't know why that's allowed, but I'm not mad about it. Gosh, of course. Keller's.
The first time I took my boyfriend there, he ordered a chicken fried steak sandwich, and Sarah was like, what?
No, yeah, no.
Did the sandwich have gravy?
No.
Oh, God, no.
Can you go through this sandwich?
Yeah.
I mean, I went through a lot. There are so many affordable restaurants that we didn't get to, and so we would love to hear yours. Email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com with your affordable picks. So last week, we were talking really about rogue things that people carry in their purse. I carry salt. Imelda's mom carries a pepper.
It's still funny.
We turned it back to y'all, though, and we asked you if you carry things in your purses or in your pockets to restaurants.
I have a favorite that I'd like to share. Julia says, my husband prefers lime over lemon in his tea, so he always carries true lime powder in case the place we go to doesn't have a full bar of limes.
Oh, wow.
I was thinking about a friend of mine whose husband also carries around a lime flavored something. It's lime salt, and he sticks it in his pocket. It's the shape of a beer, and it's just called beer salt, and you like stick it around like the rim of a can or...
Totally.
I've seen him buy like a 12-pack.
Oh, he's in.
Yeah, he's like really, he's really into it.
I was talking with family about this weekend, and some of them told me, oh, you know what? I have some omeprazole in my bag, just in case. And they were like, what? No, please, no.
Tell anyone who doesn't know, Imelda, what omeprazole is.
It's the medication against stomach issues, like I don't
Heartburn.
know. Yeah, heartburn, that's the one.
Find stories on many of these topics and much more by visiting dallasnews.com/food. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, it's going to be time to meet Dallas's own Michelin Man. That's next.
Central Market is really into food, like fish flown in so fresh it still has jet lag into food. Our sourdough starter has been around since grunge was a thing into food. We're talking more prime cuts than a greatest hits album into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then we're the HQ for you, whether you're a make every recipe in the cookbook foodie or a my favorite recipe is reheat type who just digs the delectable. No place makes every day more delicious like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
Welcome back. We turn now to the fascinating story of Dallas man Drew Stevenson, who visited all 15 of Texas's one-star Michelin restaurants in a matter of weeks. In the next segment, Sarah Blaskovich chats with Drew and his wife Elena about why they went on this fun, expensive quest.
Drew, I would say you're not a regular restaurant guy. Visiting Michelin-starred restaurants is part of your personality. It's a big deal. So let's start with this. How many Michelin-starred restaurants have you been to?
Well, the good news is there is an app, the Michelin app, and you can track all the restaurants you've been to. So when I go to that, I can look and see that I have been to exactly 50 at this point.
Wow. Okay. And these are across the world?
Across the world, mainly in the United States, 15 now in Texas, obviously, but the rest are scattered around Italy and Europe.
Okay, and we're joined here by your wonderful wife, Elena.
Yes.
Elena, you agreed to have your honeymoon in Copenhagen so that Drew could eat at a whole bunch more Michelin-starred restaurants.
Yeah.
How did that go?
I mean, it was amazing. I hadn't had as much experience going to Michelin-starred restaurants, but I loved it. Plus, Copenhagen was just lovely in the summer.
So you're into this, even though Drew, I would say, is the Michelin man. Mm-hmm. You love it too.
Yeah. My dad was a chef, so I would go, to nice restaurants with him, and eventually he became more of a GM type role. But yeah, that was our thing growing up.
You guys are a lovely match. So of the 50 restaurants you've been to that have a Michelin star, something that big time Michelin fans do is they add up all those stars. So if you've got X number of 1 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars multiplied by 50, do you have any idea, Drew, about how many stars you have under your belt?
It would probably be somewhere around 75 at this point.
Nice. Yeah. But we are here to talk about Texas.
Yes.
As we mentioned, since Michelin announced its first Texas guide, you've been to all 15 one-star restaurants, which I would say is pretty crazy dedication. Why is this quest important to you?
That's a great question. I haven't put a lot of thought into that, but I am a very proud native Texan, a very proud native Dallasite. And the idea of Michelin coming to Texas has been something I've been very interested in happening for years. And when we found out that Michelin was in fact creating their first guide for Texas, that became very exciting. I think the idea pretty early on was that I would go to all 15 restaurants. As a Texas food enthusiast, I thought, this just has to happen. I think I need to be the guy to go to these places.
Well, the way I met you, I think is interesting, Drew. You are part of a group called The Hungries. I wrote one of my favorite stories of 2024 about you and your friends. There are 600 Hungries across the world, but I talked to about 5 of you from Texas. And the Hungries is a online chat room, basically, where you talk about how to get reservations to Michelin restaurants, and you share details on what you love. You even find travel buddies or people to eat with who have similar interests as you do. And Drew, I just found you guys fascinating because you have so many different professions, yet you share this very deep love for cooking and for fancy restaurants. More than that, you are willing to spend a heck of a lot of money doing it. Elena, this question is for you.
Okay.
Did you guys have to agree on this hobby that Drew came up with? Because I got to think it's thousands of dollars to fly across the world and eat at these restaurants. I mean, is this part of your family budget?
Yeah, we do budget for vacation. It is fairly big, but I mean, other people like to have the newest cars, and that's just not us. This is our thing.
And you are new parents of a brand new baby girl. She's about 3 months old. Has having a child in the house changed your ability to travel and eat this food that you love?
Slightly. So we were given advice from some lovely people at our church who told us that when we bring a child into the world, our schedule does not revolve around theirs. We're bringing them into our lives. So we've tried to remember that as we travel and eat at restaurants. So we have both of our grandparents here in town. That helps a lot. We actually went on a trip to Austin this past weekend, left Claire at home with Elena's parents for the entire weekend. There are a lot of parents who are probably judging us for dropping our kid off that early on in their life.
Not me.
Yep, but we had to do it. It was comfortable. She doesn't know left from right yet, so I don't think she missed us too much. We're okay.
It's hard to get out of the house when you have little bitty ones, but it's important. And part of this Michelin quest, most of it actually, Drew, happened when you had an infant at home, right?
Yeah, that's true. So very early on, Elena was kind of giving me the hairy eyeball when I suggested leaving town for a night. And at that point, she was still trying to figure out all the logistics of early on motherhood. And I escaped to Houston for one night to go to 3 places. I checked off a barbecue place for lunch, Le Jardinier for lunch, and then I did March in Houston for dinner. And that was a very quick 24 hours shot back home with Elena in tears on the way home. I need you back here quick. And we made it happen.
Okay, I'm so glad the baby and mom are all right, but I have to say I'm mostly wanting to talk about 3 Michelin-starred restaurants inside of 24 hours. Are you hungry for the second and the third meal, or do you just power through because you don't care?
You get good at pacing. You start to learn, should I finish this plate? Should I drag my finger across this dish and just get every last little morsel? Or should I leave a little more room? Le Jardinier, I could have built out a pretty impressive lunch menu. They happened to have a 4-course tasting menu for lunch that was very reasonable. And then going into March, that was literally, I think, 8 hours after I had lunch. You learn to understand how to listen to hunger cues and be okay as you get through these little journeys.
I mean, I could totally eat at 3 Michelin-starred restaurants in a day, but I think some people listening would struggle with it. Now, here's what everybody really wants to know. You hit 15 one-star Michelin restaurants in our state within a couple of months. How much money did you spend total?
I did this entire journey in the course of 6 weeks.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah. So for one person is going to run around $3,000. For my employees who might be listening to this, I promise I don't make that much money. This is all budgeted in our vacation budget. Again, we drive 10-year-old vehicles. We live in an apartment. We're not rich. Okay, we just make this happen because it's important to us.
It's a priority, right,
Yeah.
Elena? Mm-hmm. That doesn't include travel, right?
It does not. No, this is just the meal budget, about $3,000 a person. Now, with the 4 barbecue places, you could go in, you could spend about $40 a person. I choose not to do that because I think at the barbecue places, the Texas Trinity of meats, pork ribs, beef brisket, and sausage, you want to get some of that. If they do have other interesting features, you want to try that. Some places are known for their sides. So it probably makes sense to spend about $100 for a couple people at least at the barbecue spot. So factoring all that in, I think you'd probably need to spend about $3,000 a person to make this happen, all 15 restaurants.
That's actually not as much as I thought it was going to be.
It's not. To me, that sounds reasonable. Does it not?
Yeah. Well, I also understand like the quest part of it. You know, you've now checked off 15 bucket list things.
Yes.
And, we should reflect on the fact that Dallas has 1 of these 1-star Michelin restaurants. So 14 of them were out of town, which took not only time planning, but you also else had to get reservations. Was the journey of like putting this all together, the spreadsheet of it all, was that difficult?
Yeah, the logistics involved in getting this journey mapped out and accomplished is very difficult. I would say that the biggest challenge was the Houston and the Austin leg of this. Austin has 7 1-stars. You cannot do that all in one weekend. You're going to have to break it up into 2. Houston has 6 1-stars. You also can't do that in one weekend. You have to break it up into 2. So immediately right there, just Houston and Austin alone, that's 4 road trips. San Antonio is about a 4.5-5 hour drive, depending on what time of day you go. And that's just for one place. We figured out all sorts of road maps on how to make this happen. I sat down for hours upon hours trying to figure out how to make this work, and finally came up with a plan that made the most sense. But it involved going to San Antonio and then hopping up to Austin for just one night, running down to Houston, like I said, for 24 hours to knock 3 places out. The good thing is if you hop down to Austin for just a weekend, you can knock a couple places out and then come back. You can do all 3 barbecue spots for lunch and then do 3 fine dining places for dinner. So the Austin leg of things makes a lot more sense. Houston having 6 stars, 5 of which are fine dining, 1 that's barbecue, that becomes a little more logistically complicated.
And for our listeners, you also don't have to cram these all together like you did. You could spend a year and just hit one every time you went to Austin, every 2 or 3 months, and you could finish it by the end of the year. Drew and Elena are a little more enterprising in that they wanted to do it quickly.
Well, I thought that's what the plan would be of it, like at first.
That's how I pitched it. I said, honey, let's try and get this done within about a year. And then it turned into 6 weeks.
Yeah, why? Did he explain that to you, Elena?
So enthusiastic. And honestly, with the newborn, we did have a lot more free time off work. It just kind of played into it.
Now, we've talked a little bit about barbecue. And when we knew Michelin was coming to Texas, but we didn't know which restaurants it was going to pick yet, Michelin promised us it would look at our Tex-Mex and our barbecue specifically. Drew, did they do a good job honoring those cuisines, in your opinion?
Yes and no. I'm very hesitant to criticize Michelin because I love them so much. I'm not sure that there's a better restaurant rating system on the planet. I don't know if they delivered on the Tex-Mex promise. You have a place like Las Palmas, which I know we're probably all obsessed with. For them not to get a call from Michelin, I thought they were an easy choice for a Bib Gourmand. So if they really did want to honor our Tex-Mex heritage, I'm not quite sure why places like Las Palmas and other places around the state weren't invited to the ceremony. With barbecue, I am completely fine with them giving Michelin stars to barbecue restaurants. I don't have a problem with that. A lot of people do.
Yep.
I thought that Aaron Franklin would get a Michelin star for Franklin barbecue. I really thought that the guys at Goldie's might get one as well.
I did too.
I thought that they would take it in this direction. We all know that Michelin has been giving stars to very casual places as of recent. When the Mexico inaugural guide came out last year, they gave a star to a taco joint in Mexico City. When they started giving stars to the countries in Southeast Asia, they were giving stars to very casual noodle spots. In Singapore, they gave them to street hawkers. So they've showed us that that's been their recent model. And so when they came to Texas, we all thought they'd give a star to a barbecue spot. And everyone thought, okay, Aaron Franklin's going to be the guy. So for Corkscrew, Interstellar, La Barbecue, and Leroy and Lewis to get stars, I think that shocked everyone.
Yeah.
Now, are these places deserving? 100%. Any of those 4 places I just mentioned are just as good as all the other really great barbecue places in the state. But I think people are just a little confused as to why those 4 places.
And if them, why not others?
Exactly.
I think you are making the argument that if those 4, why not Goldie's?
Yes.
Maybe Cadillac.
Yep.
Here's a question for you, Drew. Did you expect DFW to get more than one 1-star restaurant?
Yes. I did think Dallas-Fort Worth did deserve a little more love. Michelin's very interesting. With the way they give a single star to different restaurants, they've showed that they don't follow one particular model. Sometimes they will give 1 star to a very creative, very mind-blowing tasting menu. There's a place in San Francisco right now called Kiln that can match a lot of the 2-star restaurants that people have been to around the world. There are places, in Copenhagen specifically, that will get 1 Michelin star that have really incredible, mind-blowing tasting menus. Then you'll see Michelin give 1 star to very casual a la carte places. Like there's a spot in New York City called the Four Horsemen. In London, there's a place called St. John, amongst other places that have a more casual a la carte sort of order as you want, sort of style tasting menu. A place that's reflective of that model in Texas is Olame, which is a southern restaurant that has an a la carte menu, a little more casual approach. They got a Michelin star. BCN Taste and Tradition is another one of those. So knowing all that, when you look at that model, I'm not quite sure why a place like Mat Hai Ba or Lucia wouldn't have gotten a star. I went through how many stages of grief are there? Is it 7?
Something like that.
However many stages of grief there are, I went through all of those.
You and I were talking certainly before the Michelin ceremony and then a little bit the night of, and you were angry the evening of the ceremony. Tell us why.
Yeah, I was really hurt. You should have seen me. I wish Elena would have whipped out her phone and taken video footage of me, but I was flush, red-faced, on the ground, just sort of angry and just winded, like I'd just been on a roller coaster after the ceremony. I had a lot of emotional attachment to restaurants in Austin and in Dallas. When Lucia got a Bib Gourmand, I was pretty devastated. I wanted to cry. It did not feel good. Same with Mat Hai Ba. Now, I think it's really incredible that those places did get recognized. They were invited to the ceremony. They got their Bib Gourmands. I think that's really cool, but I just disagree with a place where you need to spend a few $100s to have an incredible experience getting a Bib Gourmand. In the past, how they've defined Bib Gourmand, that does not fit. It doesn't make sense.
What they said in Texas for those Bib Gourmands, for anybody listening, is $50 or less for essentially 3 courses, a starter, a main, and either a glass of wine or a dessert. And I've talked to a whole bunch of people about Lucia. It is a wonderful restaurant. I also had it on a guessing list for a 1 star myself. I can't really math that very well. I can't get to only $50 at Lucia for myself unless we're really skimping. So your point is straight on.
The reason I brought up the Four Horsemen and St. John in London is because those are just great examples of very casual but great cooking that deserve a Michelin star. And I thought that if you are putting Lucia and Mat Hai Ba up to those restaurants, I think it absolutely deserves a star. You know, Dallas, I think, did deserve a couple more stars, but I think it also speaks to us being a little behind Houston and Austin. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Austin and Houston have a very strong culinary identity, and I think Dallas is just a little more muted or muddled in who we are in the culinary scene.
I want to dig into this a little bit more. This is important to me, Drew, and I think this is important to you. You've told me you're worried about what Dallas restaurants say about us Dallas people. And I'm sort of paraphrasing, so correct me here.
Yeah.
But do we have an identity in Dallas when it comes to food? And now that you've eaten at the state's finest restaurants, how does Dallas compare?
Yeah, great question. This is something I've thought about for a very long time. I think I first started to sort of flirt with, does Dallas really have an identity? Over 10 years ago. I just remember thinking, what's going on down in Houston? What's going on in San Antonio and Austin? And who are we?
Yeah.
So I think that everything that you would say is great about Dallas. We do Tex-Mex. We have great Mexican food. We have a very diverse cultural heritage. We have a great big Vietnamese population, Hispanic population. That is all true about Dallas, but it's more true about Houston and Austin and San Antonio. So when you think about the restaurants that got Michelin stars down in those cities, you think about Musafir in Houston, very representative of their cultural melting pot. It's an Indian restaurant. You think about a place like Tatemo, which represents their Mexican heritage, which Dallas has that, but Houston has it a lot more. It's a lot deeper and richer. You think about Michelin in San Antonio, which is very representative of their Mexican culture. You think about Barley Swine in Austin, which is very representative of their quirky personality, that sort of keep Austin weird identity, which I cannot think of a restaurant in Texas that is more reflective of the city it represents than Barley Swine. So you have a lot of these restaurants that are very representative of those cities and what make them unique. And then in Dallas, we have an omakase place. It's a great omakase place. It's probably the best in Texas, but it in no way reflects a unique identity of Dallas.
Yes, in fact, and you're speaking of Tatsu, our one Michelin-starred restaurant, you could have Tatsu somewhere else, and it would be just as wonderful. We are glad that Chef Tatsuya moved to Dallas to put it here, and God bless, without him doing that, we wouldn't have any Michelin-starred restaurants, so we are glad he's here. But yes, does that menu define Dallas? No.
No, it doesn't. And like you said, it's kind of hard saying that. I don't want anyone to take that as a criticism because Tatsu is incredibly important to our culinary identity if we do have one. And we're really blessed to have him. It just doesn't give an identity to Dallas. Now, we do have other places in the country, like, so say Tampa Bay or Orlando. We have a guide in Colorado, Denver specifically. We have a guide in Atlanta. Now, do Orlando, do Denver, and do Atlanta have strong culinary identities? I don't think so. I don't know a lot about those cities in particular and if they do or do not have a strong identity, but my suspicion is that they don't. Now, are these still great places to go eat? Does Michelin still give them a handful of stars and make it a fun and intriguing place to go travel to eat? Yes. So does Dallas need a strong culinary identity? That's a question I don't know if I know the answer to, but I think as long as we have chefs continuing to push, to move to Dallas, to try new things, to create great new restaurants, I don't know if an identity is that important.
I think that's so interesting. That's not where I thought you were going to end up with this answer. I like it. I mean, because, what's the suggestion? Like, we become a thing overnight just so that we can hitch our wagons to that culinary idea. That doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible.
I agree.
Think Dallas is what it is. We're too far north. We're too far removed from all these other cities down in South Texas that seem to kind of have this allegiance that we don't. And again, I just think Dallas is what it is. I'm Dallas's biggest defender when it comes to our food scene. I love it here.
Yeah,
born and
you are.
raised. So I think I've settled into this idea that we can still be a great food city, just not having the strongest identity, and that's okay.
Yeah, I think Michelin probably wants to see more chefs with their food on the plate. That is one of the criteria that they say. They want to see the chef's personality on that menu. And many of the restaurants that you mentioned in Austin or Houston, they do that. So I think there's a little bit of a moment here where we can say, what chefs do we have and can we see more of them? And I bet if you'd asked them, they're doing their best. Yeah. Nobody's like not shooting their shot now that Michelin's here. But it's a good point, Drew. I'm going to ask you in just a moment what your favorite single dishes were, Drew. And I think this is going to be hard for you to answer. So I want you to think about it while I ask Elena one more question. I want to go back to the Michelin ceremony night when Drew was beside himself, red-faced on the floor. I think he said, "What do you do in that moment?"
Oh, I mean, it was pretty similar, his reaction to when the Rangers were losing to the Astros in the ALCS. He was just devastated. I mean, there's no consoling at that point. You just have to let him be. And then tomorrow he wakes up and he finds the silver lining somehow.
Okay, you are a silver lining guy.
Yeah, the Enneagram 7s, we're famous for making a big damn deal out of stuff. And then the next day we realize everything's going to be okay.
Here comes the last question before we go to a lightning round. What was the best single dish you ate in your journey of 15?
If you do need me to condense this to one thing, there are 11 fine dining Michelin-starred restaurants in Texas. The last fine dining restaurant we went to was Hestia in Austin, and there was a dish with a scallop cut into 3 beautiful little pieces, put back in its shell. It was served with melted beef tallow, kohlrabi, and a mushroom gelée. That is probably going on a list of 5 or 10 of the best things I'll have eaten in 2025. I know it's really early, but that dish really blew me away.
Oh, I love this. And I just looked up Hestia's menu to see if I could give everybody a price for that scallop dish. I know people are listening who are going to say, maybe I can't do the whole tasting menu, but I'm going to go for that scallop that Drew loved. And there aren't prices on the menu because this is one of those. So I don't know how much it is, you guys, but it sounds like it's worth the money, whatever it cost, Drew says.
Yeah, we did the tasting menu that came on the tasting menu.
Yes, the whole chef's tasting menu is $195 per guest, with an additional $150 if you do the wine pairings, which Drew, you do not drink. So
I don't drink.
You save yourself $150 every time. Love that. All right, Drew, before we get to the lightning round, just one more question. Of the 15 restaurants, give us a couple that we have to visit.
I would say Barley Swine is my number one.
Okay. In Austin.
In Austin. Incredible tasting menu. Like I said, it's very quirky, fits Austin's personality really well. Some fun and exciting things you won't see anywhere else.
Okay.
2 is March. March in Houston. If we had a Michelin culinary battle, a civil war that broke out in the United States, that would be our Michelin representative that would fight for Texas.
Aha.
They are the most Michelin ready. They are the restaurant that is most ready to receive 2 stars. It is the best experience I think you'll have overall.
Wonderful.
Number 3 is Hestia. And then 4 is Michelin. They do an incredible menu. It's the Mexican tasting menu down in San Antonio. Michelin, those guys are killing it.
So if anybody wants to do a condensed version of this 15 restaurant trip, you could do Barley Swine in Austin, Hestia in Austin, March in Houston, and Michelin in San Antonio.
You absolutely could. And that would be an incredible journey.
And you could drive all those places. You could call it 4 nights. We've just planned everybody's next trip, I think.
Yeah.
I love this.
Do it.
All right. It's a lightning round. We're going to hit highlights and a few lowlights, and you may only pick one thing from each.
Got it. I can do it.
Which restaurant was the biggest surprise?
BCN Taste and Tradition.
And where is that?
In Houston.
Okay. And why?
I didn't expect the menu to be that good. I didn't expect the food to be that good.
Okay.
It blew me away.
These Michelin guys seem to know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where did you spend the most money and how much?
March, their 9-course tasting menu is $350 a person. That's before tax and tip.
Aha. And were you dining together?
No, that was one he did all on his own.
So it's just $350 plus tax and tip. All right. Where did you spend the least?
Tatemo in Houston is $125 for the tasting menu, which in Michelin terms is a massive deal.
Yes, and I thought you were going to say a barbecue restaurant. You managed to spend over $125 at all the barbecue places?
I spent more than that at 3 of the barbecue places.
Yeah, okay. Which restaurant did you visit once and may never return?
Ooh, do I have to answer this?
You do.
I would say Musafir, and that is not a criticism. I just don't know if it's the cuisine I love the most.
And this is the Indian restaurant in Houston.
Yes.
Okay. Which restaurant are you most excited to return to?
Gosh, either Barley Swine or March. Barley Swine, once they change the menu up completely, I'd love to see what they have in store for, like, say, spring or summer. Or March, they do 2 different menus a year. The last one was the Republic of Genova, I think. And then this menu is going to be Venice. And they focus on things that people would have been eating, say, like 1,000 years ago.
Interesting.
Which takes incredible research. I don't know how they do it.
Plus, he'll have to return so he can take me to that one.
Yep.
You do have to take her.
I have to take her to March. Yeah, that was very unfair. I get it.
Where was it hardest to get a reservation? And is it hard, Drew, since I know you make more reservations than most?
So yes, I definitely understand the logistical side of it. I know how to get reservations and when to be camped out at my phone. And I get all the little ins and outs. I've done this a million times. The hardest reservation was at Kraft, the omakase place in Austin. This place is incredibly popular right now. When the reservations drop, I can't remember when, but say it's 11 a.m. You have to be camped out at your phone at 10:59, and you have to pull the trigger the second the clock strikes, and boom, sometimes the reservations are all gone within 10 seconds.
Yep.
Okay, this is my last lightning round question, and it's for each of you. I will ask Elena first. Simply, which restaurant was your favorite and why?
My favorite was BCN Taste and Traditions. I mean, the food was solid. And for me, it's more than just the food. It's the whole experience. It's the service. It's the story that they tell of the 9 that I went to. I think they had like their own identity as a restaurant. I could really feel that.
Amazing. Drew?
Yeah, mine was Barley Swine. I just think that they're doing fun things with food that you're not going to see anywhere else. Like I said, they just play into Austin's weird and fun and quirky and adventurous personality better than anyone. So they are trying some really fun, interesting things. And it makes for a really incredible menu. They even, before the meal, will tell you if you want us to bake a box of brown butter chocolate chip cookies, we can add that to your bill. And towards the end of the meal, they give you a box of just wonderful classic cookies. Nothing contemporary or fun, just some really awesome cookies to take home.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Can I say one more thing real quick?
Please.
My Instagram is very new.
Yeah.
It's funny. You ran into me when my Instagram following was about 100 people.
Yeah.
Which I was like, why is Sarah Blaskovich following me at 100 followers? All the reels from all these restaurants I am currently posting.
They're really good, by the way. I have followed your journey through that Instagram account.
Thank you. Yeah, I try hard. I think I'm just kind of a natural at using CapCut at making videos. It's a lot of fun. So please follow me. It's at Drew the Food Guy. Yeah, I know.
Drew the Food Guy.
Sounds a little goofy, but it gets straight to the point. At Drew the Food Guy, I am posting reels of all my journeys. So if you want to hop on there and follow me, I think it's pretty fun.
And you can ask Drew questions too. If you're listening, you want to go to one of these restaurants, he's been to more of them than I have, for instance, and he might have answers. Drew, we thank you for your service. And Elena, you're a wonderful partner for this wild ride. Thank you so much for coming on the Eat, Drink, DFW podcast, y'all.
Thank you,
so
Sarah.
much.
You are incredible. We love you so much.
That's all the time we have for this week. Coming up next week, we're going to be talking about sandwiches. And who doesn't love sandwiches? Stay up to date with the food team's stories at dallasnews.com/food. And listen to all of our episodes by following Eat, Drink, DFW wherever you find your podcasts. Special thanks to our producer, Julie Fisk. For the news, I'm Anna Butler. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.